We're going to begin this morning with the new developments in the legal battle over the abortion drug Mifepristone.
Yeah, a federal appeals court issued a ruling late last night blocking part of the Texas judge's decision that suspended the FDA's approval of that medication. The appeals court's decision allows the pill to remain available in the U.S. for now, but there are certain restrictions. NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos joins us now with more. So, Danny, let's take a closer look at this appeals court's decision. It's allowing some limited access to the drug. So what do we know about those restrictions?
Basically that you can't send it through the mail. This is the kind of thing that partially overrules the district court's order, but not completely. And really probably the most important is that it preserves the status quo the way it was a week ago. And that's really one of the more important things about this kind of injunctive relief. It's not a final decision on the merits. It's an almost 50-page order. And yet this is not the final say. This just preserves the way things have been until something further is decided on the merits.
And then, Danny, let's talk about that dueling ruling from Washington State. Really complicates the issue here. So what should we know and understand about that?
This happens from time to time, but the key is that when you have this kind of circuit split or district court split on an important issue, that is a signal that it is very likely we may see this case at the Supreme Court. That's the kind of thing the Supreme Court looks for. As you know, the Supreme Court has limited resources. They can't hear every single appeal. They have to turn down way more than they actually hear. So this is exactly the kind of thing that will get it earmarked to go right up to the Supreme Court because you have that kind of split between the districts. It's not a direct split because the Washington District Court case only covers certain geographical areas, not the entire country. But yet they are inconsistent, and that's the kind of thing that'll get it reviewed.
Yeah. And if this does actually go to the Supreme Court, what kind of timeline are we looking at here? I mean, it's a medication. Obviously, it could be needed very fast for a lot of people.
Right. That's the concern. I mean, this has always been the concern with abortion. It's been famously called capable of repetition, but evading review. And that's because it's only a 9-month gestation period. So if you go to court, most cases last a lot longer than 9 months. So speed is of the essence. People have relied on this since 2000. That's when it was approved. So those reliance interests are very important. It's the kind of thing that needs to get to a final determination sooner rather than later.
States are already stockpiling the drugs, so we'll have to watch this one.
All right, Danny, thanks so much. All right, we're following some breaking news out of Florida this morning. Heavy rain is causing serious flooding in Fort Lauderdale. Broward County issued a flash flood emergency yesterday as more than a foot of rain came down in just a matter of hours. That rapid flooding left people trapped in their cars and created dangerous conditions for pedestrians as well. That emergency has been downgraded now to a flood warning, but schools, along with the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, remain closed today.
So meteorologist Angie Lassman is following it all and joins us now to break it down. Good morning, Angie.
Morning, guys. Yeah, pretty incredible yesterday across South Florida. Parts of South Florida, specifically Fort Lauderdale, picked up 7 months worth of rainfall in just 7 hours. That tells you how inundated they were with water, and it really had nowhere to go. So the flooding concerns continue there, and we have more rain on the way. Most of the heavy rain is focused up towards Alabama, Mississippi, and parts of Louisiana. That's where that low pressure system is eventually going to work on shore. But we still have some trailing rain that's going to impact folks in those same areas that were already hard hit yesterday, with upwards of 25 inches of rain outside of the Fort Lauderdale area. So still the flooding concern to be seen here through the rest of the day, with those rainfall rates reaching anywhere from 1 to 2 inches per hour. And that goes up through the Carolinas. Now, as we get into tomorrow, that's when we'll start to see the Carolinas getting in on some of that rainfall. But the highest concern continues to remain down for South Florida. Something to be watching here if you're going to be out and about in that area over the next day or so. Here's the system that we're tracking. It will bring rain into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama through the day today. And eventually, places like Atlanta could have a little bit of a rough go when it comes to the afternoon hours for that commute. We'll still be watching the flood concern, and we also could see some of these stronger storms developing. Looks more like some wind, maybe some hail, rather than the tornadoes, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Here's what I was talking about with the Carolinas, seeing some of that rain for your Friday. This is something we'll see from Raleigh all the way to Charleston. We'll watch for that, with some pockets of heavy rain also causing some flooding concerns for folks there. When it's all said and done, I think over the next day or so, we could see maybe 2 to 4 inches, and some of those higher amounts widespread about an inch, maybe to 2 inches. There's the severe weather that I mentioned. It does stretch down into portions of South Florida from Miami to Jacksonville and out west towards Columbus, Mobile, all involved in this. And again, it's mainly the wind gusts that we're concerned for, 60 miles miles per hour, hail up to an inch, but we won't rule out an isolated tornado or two. And did you feel the heat across much of the eastern half of the country yesterday? Yeah, today is no different. We're going to end up close to 90 degrees in Minneapolis. 89 is the high today. North Platte hits 90. St. Louis at 82. Detroit, you'll hit 84 degrees. In Richmond, 87. These numbers are 10, 20, even close to 30 degrees above where they should be for this time of year. Feeling more like late June, early July than April. We'll take a run at some record highs across much of the Northeast, especially as we get into tomorrow. We'll see D.C. and New York both end up into the mid-80s. So it'll be another warm one, and then we'll finally start to moderate out as we get into the weekend. But we'll go into Saturday and Sunday with upper 60s in New York. Not bad for this time of year. Upper 70s will remain for Saturday in D.C., and we'll still be into the 80s as we get into Sunday before we drop back into those upper 60s. So some temperature swings on the way. Now, we're also still dealing with those elevated wind gusts, the heat, and the low humidity. And all of those ingredients together means that we'll continue to have those fire concerns. And it stretches from parts of northern, the parts of the Midwest into parts of the Southwest. That's where we're going to see the potential for some of these brush fires or any fire to quickly spread, because we do have dry conditions and we do have those elevated winds. Already some active fires that we're tracking in parts of New Mexico and in Arizona. You can see 4 in New Mexico and already 7 active fire incidents in parts of Arizona. Something that will be, something to watch here specifically as we get through the next day or so. We'll still be watching for the record highs as we get through your Friday, and we'll watch for some strong storms to develop in the midsection of the country. It stretches the rain, that is, from parts of the upper Midwest all the way down to the south as another system starts to work through. We'll have the potential to see maybe some isolated, strong to severe storms here as we get into Saturday. That'll continue marching east by the time we get into Sunday, and there'll be some showers around for that forecast, guys, as we get through the East Coast.
Looks like we got a little bit of everything. Angie
yeah.
Glassman, thank you so much.
Well, new this morning, the EPA issuing a warning about major air pollution concerns in Indiana as a toxic plastics fire continues to burn there. This warehouse fire has been burning in the city of Richmond since Monday. EPA officials say this thick plume of smoke you see here may contain traces of the deadly carcinogen asbestos. They are testing for other substances right now as well, and officials are warning people who live in that area to avoid any debris from that fire that may end up landing on their property. Public schools in the area remain closed today for the second day in a row.
And turning now to the latest on the investigations into former President Donald Trump. He's expected to return to a New York courthouse today. Just a week ago, he was arraigned on criminal charges in connection with the Stormy Daniels hush money case. Now, Trump will take part in a deposition in a business fraud lawsuit that has been brought against him by New York Attorney General Letitia James. The lawsuit alleges the Trump organization misled banks and others by providing financial statements that misstated the value of assets like golf courses and hotels. Trump has denied any wrongdoing. For more, we're joined by NBC News correspondent Rahema Ellis to break it all down. Rahema, good morning. So there are multiple legal issues surrounding the former president. So first off, can you just remind us how this specific lawsuit came to be, what's being alleged, and what should we expect today?
For sure. Good morning. We should tell you that this came about as a result of a 3-year investigation by Letitia James. As you point out, she's the New York State Attorney General. And she was looking into the business dealings of the Trump organization. And she had a deposition into this last August, where the former president, 400 times or more, took the Fifth Amendment, which is his right, his legal right to do so, and didn't really answer any questions. Following that position, she then filed this civil lawsuit against him, alleging, as you mentioned, that he habitually filed fraudulent claims about the value of his businesses, and that is everything, as you point out, from hotels, golf courses, and skyscrapers, which she says is against the law. So what we can expect today is that this particular investigation, I should point out, it went on for 3 years. It was about property cases from 2011 to 2021. The former president is expected to come here today for the deposition. Whether or not he will answer any questions or take the fifth again, it's yet to be determined. Zen Clay?
And Rahema, what are some of the potential consequences for Trump? What is the Attorney General seeking exactly?
She's seeking $250 million in this civil lawsuit against Trump, 3 of his children, and the Trump organization. And if he is found liable in this civil lawsuit. She's, again, seeking that $250 million and a ban on his company from operating in New York State. Then, Clay?
And I know we learned just yesterday that Trump is suing his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, for $500 million. Cohen, of course, was a key witness in the Manhattan DA's hush money case against Trump before Trump was indicted. So in this lawsuit, what is Trump's team alleging, and have we heard anything from Cohen on this?
The Trump team is alleging that Cohen spoke about him and spreading lies about the former president, and that were likely to be embarrassing and detrimental. What we've heard from the Cohen folks is that they're saying that this is the former president's attempt to unjustly enrich himself by making falsehoods about Cohen. And they basically said that this is a frivolous lawsuit and it shouldn't go anywhere. They deny all of what the former president is claiming. Clay?
A lot to follow here. Rahima Ellis, we know you'll stay on it. Thank you so much.
Jury selection is expected to get underway today in the $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox News brought by Dominion Voting Systems. Dominion claiming that Fox defamed the company by pushing conspiracy theories about its technology following the 2020 election. NBC News senior reporter Jane Tim is in Wilmington, Delaware, where that trial is being held. Jane, good morning to you. So yesterday, another twist in this case, that judge sanctioning Fox News and its parent company for withholding evidence in the discovery portion of this case. So what does that mean? How could this affect things going into the trial? Will this mean more depositions?
For starters, it means the judge is really pretty mad. Dominion's lawyers played tapes that a producer had made in the course of her reporting that Dominion says they got a week ago instead of months ago when they say they should have. The judge was not pleased. These are critical pre-tapes before these interviews aired. And he said, you know what, we're going to have, if you need more depositions, Dominion, you're going to have them, and Fox is going to pay for them. That's the sanction here. He also said he's considering appointing a special master into looking into what's going on with this evidence being withheld. He is not pleased. He told lawyers to preserve their communications. That's not something you want to hear days before you go to trial.
Yeah, and Jane, following your reporting on this, I know last week you said that Fox executive Rupert Murdoch will likely have to testify. So how important could that testimony be to this case, and who else do you think we could hear from?
Rupert Murdoch's testimony is critical both to tying the case to Fox Corporation. He's, of course, an officer of Fox News, we've now learned, but Fox Corporation as well as the chair, his involvement in this. But I also think it's really important to the story Dominion's trying to tell, because at the end of the day, this is a story. The idea that, as Dominion puts it, that from the top down, people knew that the conspiracy theories they were allowing to be broadcast on these shows repeatedly were false, and they knew it before they put them on the air. And that's what the Dominion's narrative is, and they want Murdoch for both the emotional part of that story as well as the absolutely fact-critical part of his involvement as the top boss.
And we've seen so much from Dominion already, heard their arguments, and in discovery, seen bombshelled text messages. But what is Fox's defense here? Do we know what their argument will be going into trial?
You know, the judge has limited them a lot in what they can say. So we know that they can't have the legal defense of newsworthiness going forward. They also can't talk about, we can't talk about January 6th, which is sort of a win for them. But what they can say is essentially that the Constitution protects them. We know they're going to argue that they were not trying to be reckless, that they were trying to get the truth, and that Trump's people, his allies, had essentially promised them proof. But the proof never came, and the broadcasts kept coming at some point. And that's what you're going to see, sort of these Dominion lawyers try and thread the needle to make their claim that they were indeed defamed.
All right, a lot to come. Jane Tim, thanks so much.
And new this morning from Capitol Hill, high-ranking U.S. Senator Democrat Dianne Feinstein has asked Senator Chuck Schumer to temporarily fill her seat on the Judiciary Committee. 89-year-old Feinstein is recovering from a shingles diagnosis. She has not cast a Senate vote in nearly a month, but says she plans to return to Washington as soon as her medical team clears her to travel. The move comes as calls for the California senator to step down have only grown louder. Feinstein has been in office since 1992 and does not plan to seek re-election in 2024, though she has said she plans to serve the remainder of her term. And now for an update on a story we've been following throughout the week. Just yesterday, a Tennessee committee voted to unanimously reinstate Democratic State Representative Justin Pearson. He and another state rep were ousted last week after leading new gun reform protests on the chamber floor. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park joins us now from Nashville, Tennessee, with the very latest. Kathy, good morning. So first, can you just walk us through what happened yesterday?
Hey, Zinkley, good morning to you. So the vote, relatively quick. This happened in Memphis, the district of Representative Pearson. And so the vote essentially came down to the Shelby County Board of Commissioners, 13 members on that board, and 7 of those members voted unanimously to put him back into the State House. Here's a reaction quickly after that vote came down. Take a listen.
So the message for all the people in Nashville who decided to expel us. You can't expel hope. Yeah. Now that the Shelby County Commission done their job. Yeah. I'm so glad we get back to doing our job. And what is our job? It's to elevate the voices of the 6 kids, the 6 people in Nashville. Yeah. The 3 children who are just 9 years old.
And Zinkley, you probably noticed the hundreds of people who surrounded Justin Pearson there. They were there ahead of the meeting, surrounded him, actually marched him to the Shelby County Board of Commissioners meeting for that special vote. And also, you can see there, shortly after that vote was cast, he was met by celebrations by supporters in that crowd.
Yeah, Kathy, really a huge show of support for this group. I mean, it's been a busy week in Tennessee, specifically surrounding the Tennessee 3. Now both Representatives Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, who were ousted, notably Gloria Johnson was not expelled, but those 2 men have now been reinstated. So what's next for them?
So in the next couple of hours, right before the House gets back into session later on this morning, Justin Pearson will officially be sworn in on the steps of the Capitol, and then he'll essentially get back to work. You mentioned the Tennessee 3. He'll be joining Justin Jones and Gloria Pearson, and they will do what they said they will do. They want to pass legislation to toughen the gun laws here in the state of Tennessee, because keep in mind, this all comes in the wake of that mass shooting here in Nashville, roughly, 2.5, 3 weeks ago now, where 6 people were killed, 3 of them young children. But we should also note that it's not necessarily over for Pearson and Jones when it comes to their political battle, because they're now just interim successors in their seat right now. They have a special election coming up, and that date will be announced at a later time.
Yeah, I'm sure tensions remain high there in Tennessee. And I know, Kathy, many critics of the move to expel both Pearson and Jones worried about the precedent it may set nationally, especially around peaceful protests. So, Kathy, in Tennessee, does their quick return send any sort of message to specifically GOP leaders who voted to oust them last week?
Yeah, I think it definitely sent the state of Tennessee into political turmoil after the expulsion of these 2 lawmakers, and it really put the spotlight on these lawmakers to act. So yesterday, the Republican governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee, actually signed an executive order to strengthen background checks for gun purchases, and he's also urging lawmakers across party lines to also pass legislation that would temporarily hold gun purchases from those who are a danger to themselves or others. He stopped short of calling them red flag laws, but it's very similar to that. Zinkley?
And Kathy, I know we heard from Gloria Johnson saying she believed this move had to do with the color of skin, right? She said she was not removed. However, these 2 other men were. Do you have any sense of if these divisions have been mended at all since these 2 men have been reinstated?
I think it kind of bubbled up, this underlying tension, especially when it comes to race. I think it's hard to ignore when you see 2 of the youngest lawmakers here in the state of Tennessee, but also men of color. And then, as you heard there, as you mentioned, Gloria Johnson was saying it was likely that she would say because of the color of her skin. And that's something that it's kind of hard to ignore. But it's, we haven't had much feedback or comments from the GOPs, but it will be interesting to see all 3 of them back on the House floor today to see if we get any sort of reaction.
Yeah, important reporting. Kathy Park, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.